Previously on Modular.
Bradley and Quinn faced down a terrifying mimic and defeated it with the help of a few gnomish guards. They were rewarded some magical items, and they had a bit of a feast in Gnomengard. Well, Bradley feasted, Quinn did other things. Back in town, the two of them spoke with Elsa, who told them tales of sea-sunken treasure. And in the morning, Toblin passed Bradley a letter which told him lots about his dear friends Braff and Atrebius. Bradley leveled up, and the two of them set off on their next adventure, where they saw the hungry, drooling jowls of a manticore.
Hello,
And welcome.
my name is Thorin George,
My name is Luke Job,
and this is Modular.
the podcast where we take you through the modules written by Wizards of the Coast for the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons.
That's right, these are the pre-written stories made up by the guys who made up D&D. We didn't write them, we're here to run them for you.
And why would we do that, Thorin?
Well, Luke, maybe you're a DM who's thinking about running a particular campaign, and you want to get a feel for how it plays. Maybe you're a player who's already been in this particular campaign, and you want to reminisce on the good old days. Maybe you're trying to move out of the house that you live in, and you really need something to cheer you up while you're struggling with that.
Oof. Yeah, but y'all should be warned. Each of your episodes will take on a part of these pre-written adventures. That means there are major spoilers for the key plot points of each adventure we're running.
Oh, hey, Luke, there is another warning we should offer them.
That's right, Thorin. Modular is not a podcast for children. It contains explicit language, like fuck, as well as adult themes, like sex, alcohol, drug use, littering, graffiti, violence, so please be aware of these not-so-kid-friendly themes.
So without further ado, welcome to Modular.
And our Session 3 of Dragon of Icespire Peak. Bradley, you are now staring at this hideous creature with the body of a lion, the fucked up weird face of a human man, and a large scorpion tail with all of these barbs kind of sticking out. When you fought the mimic in Gnomengard, tell me honestly, were you scared?
Facing the mimic, I was quite fine. I definitely believed that I could get it done. It's a mimic, you know. They're nothing. But this manticore, I might just shit myself.
Well, you look down to your left at your little 3'4" companion. Quinn looks up at you and says, Mr. Copper, that thing is the most terrifying fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Let's kill it. Quinn went first in initiative. He yanks out a hand crossbow, and he fires it towards the mimic. Not the mimic, the manticore.
Whoa, the mimic, that's like several miles away, holy shit.
Quinn now has the attacker feature, so he gets +2 bonus to his attack rolls, so he's got +6 to hit.
Oh, nice.
He rolled a natural 4, makes it 10. The crossbow bolt goes whizzing past this manticore. It kind of lets out a blood-curdling scream that I'll spare you. Its barbed tail kind of peeks over its head, and some barbs start shooting out at you and Quinn. Does a 13 hit you?
It does.
Quinn jumps to the left, and the barb aimed at him sticks into the ground, just barely missing him. The one targeted at you deals you 8 points of damage as you just right into his shoulder. You feel that shit.
Ouch.
And that's half your HP right there.
Yes,
Your turn.
Quinn, I'm half dead, or I guess if you are an optimist, half alive. I am going to cast... I'm going to stick my hand in the air, and I'm going to trace like a little sword with a circle around it. And that is me casting Blade Ward.
On yourself?
On myself. Well, I can only cast it on myself.
Okay. So, Blade Ward makes you resistant to what?
To bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage dealt by weapon attacks until the end of my next turn.
Okay. This Manticore's attacks will count as weapon attacks.
And then I'm going to cast, as a bonus action, I'm going to cast Healing Word on myself.
Okay, can you cast 2 spells in one turn?
Oh, fuck. Well, this is a bonus action, so I don't know.
For the true D&D nerds out there, if we're doing this wrong, I'm sorry. But, yeah, go for it. Cast it.
Okay. So that's 1d4 plus 4. Please give me a good roll. I gained 7 health. Nice. Almost back to full.
Okay. You sing a little ditty to yourself, and Quinn watches as the barb kind of smushes out of your shoulder, and your wound heals.
Cool. So,
says,
so you can't use a cantrip and a spell in the same turn?
Is Blade Ward a cantrip?
Yeah.
Oh, then I think you can do that, actually.
Okay, cool.
Quinn says, Mr. Copper, I won't let you take another hit like that.
I don't think it's up to you, Quinn.
He tosses you his hand crossbow, and he sprints towards the manticore.
Oh, God.
He gets up in its face, hits it, and deals 6 points of damage to this thing as he punches it right in the nose. The woman, Adabra Gwen, who you've come to meet, is looking out the window, and she says, "Yeah, you get that thing!" It kind of snarls back up towards her, and the manticore unleashes its claws towards Quinn. That's a hit.
Oh, fuck.
Quinn takes 6 damage, and then he's attacked again with a bite attack, and he's missed. Claws rip across his chest, but ever so slightly. He's nimble. He kind of pushes back away from this thing, and it barely slices him. It then comes down for a bite, and it meets his gauntlet and just bites down onto metal. It is your turn again, Bradley. Quinn is in the thralls of combat.
I am going to use Vicious Mockery. And I'm going to turn towards this. I'm going to stare deep into this manticore's eyes, and I say, "You ridiculous, rambunctious rapscallion! Fuck you!"
And it needs to make
4 points of damage.
Well, he needs to make a save before it does any
he
damage.
does make a save. That's right.
Wisdom save?
It's a wisdom save.
That is a 8 total.
Okay.
So he
he
fails.
misses, or he gets hit. and he will now have disadvantage on the next attack roll.
Okay. And he takes 4 damage?
Yes, and he takes 4 damage. 4
He
psychic damage.
He kind of shivers as you say this, and goes right back. Actually, sorry, he does not go right back for anything. Quinn goes for
I also
him.
think I'm going to
Move?
give Quinn Bardic Inspiration.
Okay, cool. What do you say to him?
I say, Quinn, give him the old cock crusher.
Quinn nods and rushes underneath this giant lion body and proceeds to try and punch this manticore in its cock. That is a natural 20. So, he does 13 points of damage to this thing. The manticore kind of bucks like a horse as its cock is crushed. Jumps away from him and, with disadvantage, tries to bite down onto Quinn's cute little head. With a 14 and a 3, the 3 is going to be used, and he misses. He then tries to claw Quinn without disadvantage, and he misses. He, maybe it's your words, maybe it's the crunched cock. You can't really tell, but this manticore is kind of moving erratically, not landing his hits, and it is your turn once again.
So you said Quinn threw his crossbow at me, right?
Yeah, you have a hand crossbow right now.
Okay, cool. I'm going to use that. Wait, is a hand crossbow the same thing as a light crossbow?
No, hand crossbow is 1d6.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to aim at the manticore's head, and it's a 16 to hit.
16's a hit.
And it will take 5 damage.
Nice. You shoot it. I'm gonna say you pierce its ear. Its little weird human lion ear. That damage connects, but you also, Bradley, looking at this thing, you know it's not even halfway dead.
Damn.
Quinn turns, and he's gonna swing with an uppercut right at the manticore's face. Ooh, big miss. Ooh. He swings the manticore, kind of rocks its chin backwards, and then immediately his head shoots back down for another bite attack. Dirty 20 on the bite. Quinn takes 10 points of damage, and he is down to 3 HP. The manticore, I thought he was down
for good.
No, down to 3. The manticore then swings with its claws, and natural 2 misses. Quinn kind of stumbles backwards and says, "Okay, wait, maybe." He looks at you, Bradley, and says, "I don't know if I signed up for all this." What do you do?
I say, Quinn, your life is in my hands. You did the right thing joining me, and I will make sure that you are safe. And with those words, I'm casting Healing Word on him.
Okay.
So that will be 5 HP.
Okay. I mean, that puts him back up to 8. 8 is better than 3. And that's a bonus action.
So as my action, I'm going to try and shoot this manticore again.
Okay.
Does it have any weak points on it, by chance?
Weak points, like a glowing red dot on its shoulder.
Yeah, like you know how in Zelda they all have this giant eye, like in the middle of their forehead or something?
Yeah. In Resident Evil, the monster, like, you can see it's like weird weak spots kind of form.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, unfortunately for you, this is D&D. Good luck.
Not a video game, of course. So I'm just gonna shoot the crossbow once more.
Okay.
Does a 12 hit?
12 is a miss.
Fuck.
It whizzes over this manticore's head. Quinn kind of looks back at you and says, "Right, Mr. Cropper." And he's going to try and punch this thing right in the nose. That's going to hit. And he deals 8 points of damage to this guy. It kind of reels back from that nose punch and swings at Quinn with its claws. Nat 1. Some D&D players do not treat a Nat 1 and a Nat 20 as anything super crazy, or Nat 1 specifically, I mean. But in my combat, I like to think a Nat 1 gives an opportunity for something bad to happen. There's a wrought iron fence kind of surrounding this windmill, and Quinn and the manticore are both inside the fence. You have no problem shooting through it because there are nice big gaps. But I'm going to say Quinn's back is to this fence. The manticore raises up its claw, swings down. Quinn does a nice little roll. The manticore impales its hand on this fence and takes
That's
6
tetanus.
points of damage.
That manticore's going to get some lockjaw real soon.
It screams out in pain, kind of thrashes, and uses the momentum to actually clear the fence, and now it's coming for you. It's got enough movement to get to you.
Of course it does.
It charges you. Its huge jaws open up wide, and it's going to try and bite you. Does a 12 hit you?
A 12? No.
12.
Thank fucking God it does not.
You leap backwards. What do?
What do I do?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess it's my turn, huh? I am going to... You said it's right up at me now?
Oh, yeah.
So then I'm just going to use my mace then.
Okay.
Does a 14 hit?
14 hits.
14 hits. 2 damage.
Whoa.
I know, my most powerful attack yet.
You massage this thing's lower back. He's got some tension, and you kind of get that tension out with the mace.
Lovely. Absolutely lovely.
You hear Quinn scream, "It's my job to keep that man alive, you know!" And Quinn runs up to this thing's ass and punches it right in its fucking ass cheek.
Oh, I thought you were going to say right in its asshole. And I was going to be like, that's crazy.
No. Quinn does 10 damage. She does max damage.
10 damage?
To
nice.
this thing.
Hell
It's instant
Fuck
Charlie
that
horse.
manticore.
Manticore is looking rougher. He still has more HP than Quinn. So, if that tells you anything. The manticore kind of cries out in pain and swipes at you with his claws. Does a 16 hit you? Yes, it does.
A 16 definitely hits me, for sure.
You only take 3 points of damage.
Okay.
And then it tries to bite you as well. Natural 19. And you get another 8 points of damage taken out of you. You're at 4 HP. Quinn is at 8. And it is your turn.
Bonus action. Going to, once again, healing word myself. This is my last spell slot.
Alright, make it count.
I'm going to say, alright, Bradley, you've gotten in worse scraps than this before. Well, you really haven't. But that doesn't matter. You can do this. And I give myself 7 hit points.
Nice.
Back.
Back up to 11.
Back up to 11. And then I'm getting real sick of this manticore, so I'm gonna take my mace and I'm just gonna swing upward, try to hit it, like, under its jaw. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's a natural 17, a dirty 20.
Hell yeah. That hits.
Doki. That's gonna be 3 damage.
3 damage. Once again, the manticore looks like he's strained his neck from biting you, so you decide to just gingerly rub your mace up his neck and massage the tender muscles for him.
Lovely. I could be a masseuse if I went to bod.
Quinn grabs his barbed tail under his arm and just punches at the base of this tail, like right where the base of this thing's spine is.
Ooh.
And I think he's going to use his Bardic Inspiration on that. That does it. And Quinn deals another 7 damage to this thing. The manticore looks right fucked up. It is on death's door.
Right fucked up.
but it's not going down without a fight. It, in an instant, swings its claws at you. Natural 19. You take 4 points of damage.
Okay, that's not so bad.
And then it moves to bite into you. 17. You take, this may be a killing blow, 6 points of damage.
Oh my god.
Knocking you down to 1 HP. And Bradley, as you are clawed across your face, and these
I'm going to
teeth...
say after these attacks, I stagger down onto one knee, and I'm kind of using my mace to prop me up right now.
Okay. Do you wipe the blood off your chin anime style?
I'm going to... So first I think about, my family. I think about my brother, who I haven't heard from in a while. I think about my father, who, despite not wanting to live in his shadow, I do admire him and I respect him. I'm going to think about my mother, who hasn't really had too much of an impact on my life. She's always been there, but, kind of in the background. I'm going to think about my friends, and Braff, and Artribius, and I'm not giving up yet. So I am going to wipe it off my chin anime style. And I'm going to look up at the manticore, and I'm going to go, heh, nothing personnel. And I'm going to strike it once more with my mace. Hopefully.
Hell yeah.
That's a natural 1, though, so I'm not going to strike it once more with my mace.
Natural 1, you think about your loved ones and the strength they give you. You push off the ground with your mace. The mace is facing downwards. You do a 6 spin of your mace. Now it's upwards. You rear back and swing, and you throw your mace like 40 feet off. It just goes flying. The manticore laughs. Fool.
And then, do I have any bonus actions? I'm going to, as a bonus action, I'm going to say, I tried, Quinn. It's all up to you now. And I'm going to give him bardic inspiration from that.
Hell yeah. The manticore is smiling at you. It licks its lips, because even though it knows it's about to die, it thinks it's looking at its final meal. In the light of the sun, beating down on your face, a shadow briefly appears. Just once over. It's almost instant. Quinn has launched himself into the air, off of the barbed tail of this manticore. He's essentially doing a cannonball down onto this manticore's head. And as he falls, he reaches terminal velocity. This manticore's...
How fucking high did he go?
This manticore's skull explodes. Your face is covered in blood and brain matter in an instant. Some manticore teeth kind of scatter across your armor. And Quinn kind of sits there in the bloody goop of what was once this manticore's head. He looks up at you and says, I got you covered, Mr. Copper. And you have defeated the manticore.
We have defeated, as in cut it off its feet.
Its feet go flying. They're fucking gone. You did it. From the window, you hear Adabra Gwen yell, Y'all did great. Come on over. Quinn,
I look at Quinn and I say, should we... She didn't really do anything. Should we even rescue her?
Well, Mr. Copper, she might have a nice reward for us, so... I don't know why he just became Southern. She might have a nice reward for us.
We're all from Texas down here in Fanderland.
Quinn says, she might have a nice reward for us. Let's go over there and check it out. He also helps you
Let's head up that fucking tower. This better be good.
As you walk by, Quinn spits on the corpse of the manticore.
Yeah, I want to desecrate that so bad, but I'm going to pretend to be a gentleman in front of this lady. But as soon as she turns her back, you better fucking wait, manticore.
You walk up to this stone windmill. She opens the door and says, "Well, howdy, y'all. I tell you, that was a mighty good fight. I mean, you should have seen yourselves down there. You was like action heroes."
Well, we are action heroes. So thank you.
My. This woman looks to be late 40s. She's a human. She looks, and I'm blanking on the name, Red Dead Redemption 1. She looks like the cattle rancher who John Marston...
McFarlane.
Yes, Bonnie McFarlane. She
Bonnie
looks like
McFarlane.
Bonnie McFarlane.
Okay.
She smiles at the two of you and she says, "Well, y'all come on in now."
All right. Let's go for it.
The two of you walk in. It's a quaint little place. You see lots of alchemical supplies. You see some tomes and scrolls. And she says, "The two of you look, well, you look worse for wear." She says,
"Yeah, I did just have the shit kicked out of me. Pardon my vulgar language."
She nods and she says, "Well, why don't y'all take a quick rest and maybe we'll talk once you're back up and at 'em."
Yes, please. Do you happen to have any tea or biscuits of any kind?
She says, I can make you tea and biscuits." She kind of elbows a wall, and one of those in the wall, like stored pull-out couches, or not pull-out couch, the bed falls out, and she says, "You two just take yourselves a little nappy, and when you wake, I'll have your tea and biscuits ready for you."
With my hit dice, I regained 13 HP.
Alright, and Quinn, while you take a short rest, Quinn's back up to full.
That's awesome. Hell yeah, Quinn. Quinn did a good job.
Yeah.
I look at Quinn when I wake up and I say, "You really saved my ass out there, and I'm so appreciative."
"Well, Mr. Copper, that's my job." And he kind of nods at you. You wake to the smell of some nice Earl Grey tea, some biscuits, not British biscuits, mind you, Southern biscuits.
Okay.
Yeah, Popeyes biscuits. When you said
Popeye
biscuits,
style?
No, they're from Popeyes. There's a Popeyes right down the road. She went and got them for you.
So they're gonna be dry as fuck, is what you're telling me?
And actually, it's not Earl Grey tea. It's sweet tea.
Okay.
So she says, "Here's your tea and biscuits, sweetie." And there's some English person listening to this. It's, "Oh, bloody hell, I can't believe they've done this."
I mean, I'm pretty sure any British person who was listening kind of stopped as soon as they heard our
accents.
Butcher of their accents.
Sorry to disrespect your culture of imperialism. Okay, she passes you the sweet tea and the biscuits. The two of you chug down, eat away, and she says, "Well, now, most people only come out here for one thing, and I think it's fitting that I give it to you as a reward." She pulls out 2 glowing bottles of red liquid and says, "Most people come out here for healing potions, and since you saved me from that manticore, I figured I'd just give you 2. So she gives each of you and Quinn each get a potion of healing. Standard potion of healing. I think it's 2d4 plus 4 HP.
I do appreciate it, but we also came out here to tell you there's a dragon in the area, and the townmaster of Phandalin wishes you to come into the town."
Well, shoot, I mean, you didn't need to tell me there's a dragon. Why'd you think a manticore was knocking on my door? You know, this dragon's messing up everything. Wherever that manticore was living, surely the dragon must have kicked it out of its spot, because, I mean, I've never had no monsters like that run up on me. So, yeah, of course there's a dragon. I've seen him flying, and, you know, I know about him, and there ain't a way in hell I'm heading back to Phandalin. I hate that place.
Why is that?
Well, I generally don't like people.
Why is that?
Well, people are fucking obnoxious, and they ask too many goddamn questions like what you're doing right now. Sorry, you saved my life. Sort of. I probably could have handled it, but, you know.
Well, then why did you ask us for help?
Well, I mean, it was just kind of fun to see you squirm.
Okay, well,
Quinn whispers to you, Fucking sociopath.
I think it's about time to hit the old dusty trail, I say as I stand up.
She says, well, of course, yeah, you need to make like horse shit and hit the trail. I get that. Listen, you two come back anytime if you want to buy more healing potions. They cost 50 gold apiece. I also do some magical tattoo work if that has any interest to you. And just generally, I'd love to get your business whenever.
Oh, absolutely.
And she says, Thank
you for your hospitality. We surely are very appreciative.
Well, yes, of course, no problem. I tell you what, I mean, it's the least I could do for somebody saving my life. She says, if that white dragon shows up again, though, I tell you what, I'd holler for you, but he'd probably eat me. Anyway.
yes, of course he would. Of course.
Quinn,
well,
you're looking
if you haven't
got
help, we will be staying in Phandalin for quite some time. Don't be afraid to. Well, can you do me a favor? I know you've already given me a potion and some rest. Can you give us perhaps a writ or a note or something saying that you're not coming to Phandalin, so we can give it back to Townmaster Harbin and get the reward anyway?
Oh, yes, sure thing. That's not a problem. She pulls out an ink pen and writes you out a quick little note, and she says, now, you tell that Harbin Wester, mind his own fucking business, thanks.
I definitely will. Don't worry.
All right. Well, then I'll see you two little peaches as soon as can be, all right?
All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, madam.
Let's get the fuck out of here. The two of you walk out of the stone windmill. It's about 3 p.m. It's a quick hike back to Phandalin.
While we're walking to Phandalin, I want to talk to Quinn, and I say, do you think it's too late for me to become an alchemist and start brewing my own potions? Because I don't necessarily want to go back to that woman.
Mr. Copper, I like to think that, anything's possible with a little bit of hope. Just kidding. No, it's probably fucking too late. Sorry, but you're a classically trained bard. I mean, why are you gonna change, professions now?
That makes sense. Perhaps, maybe I'll make it a hobby.
Yeah, good luck with that. He walks alongside you. You get back to Phandalin right as the sun is starting to set, and a woman who you may have seen briefly before approaches you. She is, without kind of having to roll for it, that she's dressed in religious robes.
She was the one praying at the altar when I strode into town.
Yeah. This woman approaches you and she says, "Hello, Mr. Copper. My name is Sister Grele. I've heard of you, and I would love to just make a quick offering with you, if you don't mind."
What sort of offering are you hoping to make with me?
An offering of prayer, good sir. I know that you've come to our town in search of perhaps just gold, or perhaps you really are here to help people, and either way, I would love to pray to my...
What's the difference?
Quinn kind of side-eyes you and just walks away, and she does not laugh an ounce. She says, anyway, my goddess, Timora, she's the goddess of luck and good fortune, and I thought perhaps if you were to pray with me, she may offer you some sort of blessing to keep you well on your travels.
I don't see any harm in that. I don't believe my gods are jealous ones.
She says, well, what gods do you worship, Master Kappa?
I worship the gods of the D, the Rage Cage and Jables.
Ah, yes, the gods of rock and roll.
Something like that.
She nods, and the two of you walk to this shrine together. She bows her head and offers some silent prayers. What does your prayer sound like? What do you pray?
I don't really want to offend her. Is she cute?
She's kind of cute.
Kind of cute. Yeah.
She looks like a young Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to offend her, being the piece of shit that I am, and I want to just pray in my head, and I say in my head, I say, what was the goddess's name?
Timora.
Timora, and I say, dear Timora, I don't necessarily know if you actually exist, but if you do, please grant me luck. After that last fight, I need it, certainly need it. I'm not certain what kind of offerings you accept, but I will gladly give you one. As long as it's not too pricey, of course. I'm not going to pledge my soul to you or anything. Please write back soon. Love, Bradley Copper.
Go ahead and go to your character sheet.
Okay.
You have gained a point of inspiration.
Nice.
When you finish, Sister Grayle's just kind of sitting there, waiting. And she says, "How was your time at the altar?"
It was good. I feel very enlightened. Well, not enlightened. I feel very lucky, I should say. I believe Timora is already affecting me.
She kind of smiles at that and says, Master Copper, if you don't mind, can I just ask you one quick question?
Of course.
What brought you to our quaint little hamlet of Fandolin?
I mean, truth be told, money, gold, riches, fame.
Up in the top left-hand corner of your screen, it says, Sister Grayle will remember that. And
I had no idea Fandolin was in need of help, but now that I'm here, I may as well.
Well, anyone's help is much appreciated. Anyway, Master Copper, you enjoy the evening, and perhaps I shall see you around.
Oh, I'm certain you will. Do you accept donations?
She says, I really don't run any sort of church, so...
well, I mean, so you just upkeep the altar for free?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Make me a raw intelligence check.
A raw intelligence check. Okay, I've got a +1. Let's roll high, buddy. 15.
Yeah, how would this woman run this shrine for free and live? It doesn't make sense. You kind of feel like there's more to her story than meets the eye.
Well, I'm going to donate to, not necessarily the church, but to Timora. I'm going to donate to her 10 gold.
Okay.
And you do with this, you give it to her, you offer it to her, you see whatever you need to do, you see fit. And I hand it to her, I make sure I touch her hand as she takes the gold coins, and I give her a little wink.
Make me an insight check.
An insight check. Oh, I feel so sleazy. Insight, I get a +3. 12.
She seems pleasantly surprised, and you definitely realize that she's into you with a 12 insight. You make your way towards the Stonehill Inn. She wishes you well. When you walk into the inn, Quinn is sitting at the bar, and he's telling Toblin, listen, I mean, just ask him, it's not a big deal. Toblin looks up at you and says, Master Copper, there you are. Listen, one thing we talked about, but you haven't done yet, is you haven't put on a show for the inn yet, and you've stayed a few nights for free.
I would very gladly put on a show for the inn. I just haven't really been here.
That is very true, Master Copper. Perhaps tonight's the night.
Perhaps tonight is the night. I do need a good night's rest. Hopefully for a less than average cost. So, I will very gladly perform for you tonight.
He says, yes, that's perfect. And of course, if you perform, you stay for free. So, why don't
Even better.
I'll get Elsa to run around town and let everyone know that the Bradley Copper is putting on a show tonight. Why don't you go ahead and make yourself ready? He kind of points to this ramshackle stage. It's like a foot off the ground. It's hardly a stage. But he sets you up. You eat a quick dinner, Quinn, and you talk a little bit. Elsa comes back, and about 20 people have come into the Stonehill Inn and are all waiting for you to perform.
I get up on the stage, and I say to the crowd, "What's up? I'm Bradley Copper, and I wrote this about 5 minutes ago."
As you finish your set, the crowd goes wild for you, Bradley. It's the highest high you've ever known, and every time you've performed, it is better than drink, it is better than drug, it is better than sex, it is better than fighting a good fight. Performing for people is what you love. And maybe that's rooted in the fact that what you've really always wanted is to make people happy, or maybe it's the fact that you really do want to be a hero, and musicians often are people's heroes when they perform. Whatever it is, as you bow to the crowd, two men sitting at a table, both human men, dressed in fine silken robes, wave you over to their table.
Out of character, can I reveal a secret about Bradley Copper that I've been keeping this whole time, but it hasn't really come up yet? But I just want to get it out there.
Yeah, I would love that.
He's a virgin.
Whoa!
Yeah, right?
Oh my God! How old is Bradley?
He is. What did I write down? I think he's like
20-something, right?
Like 26 or something.
Okay. I mean, that's not as bad as Steve Carell.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Oh, he's exactly 26. Yeah, that's what I read.
Sweet. Wow. Well, he's just he's a sweet little.
He hasn't had
pure
luck. He has
boy
never
so
had
far.
luck with the ladies. He's honestly so shocked that what he was saying worked with the what's her name, whose name I've already forgotten.
Well, you also know, Thorin. You should know that did not work with your 12 insight. Bradley thought it worked.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's why he was. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He thinks it works, but it doesn't really work, and that's why he's never, been able to achieve his goal.
Of course, he's just nervous.
He's just
poor,
not
sweet, nervous
he's
boy.
He's putting on this. What's the word? He's putting on this character
Facade?
that he isn't really. Because he really is. Yeah. He's a kind, gentle person, but he doesn't make it appear that way. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Anyway, back to the story. Yeah. He's gonna walk over to those two finely robed gentlemen.
Ah, look! It's the singing man that was just singing. Look, Rabbiah. These two men, Rabbiah and Wilhelm, they kind of usher you to sit down, and Rabbiah says, "Oh yeah, that was very good music. Listen, Master Copper, you seem like a man of exquisite taste, no?"
Oh, 100% I
Wilhelm looks up at you, and he kind of pats you gently on your hand and says, "Oh, we just knew it. We just knew that you was the kind of person that knows that, you know, when they see poor people, they don't have to do anything for poor people. Poor people don't need anything. You know, we could tell you are rich. You have rich
He
blood."
kind of gives them a little, a slight squint, but goes, "Yes, I am. My family is particularly wealthy."
Oh, we could just tell that. Well, you should know, we just got back from a fabulous hunting trip under Falcon's protection. You know Falcon? And Rabia kind of speaks up and says, "Oh yeah, Falcon's hunting lodge is the only safe haven in Neverwinter Wood." And Wilhelm nods. "It lies deep in the forest, along the river's edge." Rabia kind of nods and says, "Falcon, if you don't know, he is a retired veteran of the war against the dragon cult. I mean, this man literally helped stop Tiamat. He might not have been there, I don't know. Either way, he'll offer anyone who brings him a bottle of wine free room and board. So you should know that, because we just got back from a fabulous hunting trip, and I tell you, it was so fun. I mean, no poor people in sight, and we got to shoot these animals, these poor little squirrels. I ripped one's head off just for funsies. Oh!"
That does sound like... I haven't quite had the real outdoorsy experience. I've been camping under the stars. Who does that? Poor people, that's who.
Yes, no, that is something for the vagabonds. You don't want to do that.
No, if I'm going on a hunting trip, I want to be able to sleep in a comfortable bed, draped with the finest silks.
We like to say draped too, don't worry, it's not that awkward. I love to be draped. I also love to be groped. And Wilhelm says, "Oh, you naughty boy!" The two of them kind of shoot the shit with you for a bit. These are the worst kind of people. But they have told you about Falcon's hunting lodge. And now you know that in the heart of Neverwinter Wood, along the river's edge, there's this dude that'll escort rich people to go on fabulous hunting trips.
Lodge. Hold on, let me write this down. So I've got Falcon's hunting lodge and the lighthouse. I don't know, I didn't write that down. I should be better at keeping notes. I'm so poor at keeping notes, and that's probably why I dropped out of college.
Well, there you go. And I'm in law school, so when you DM, I will have too many notes. I'll be taking notes about things that I probably shouldn't, just the color of people's hair, for no reason. Bradley, you also noticed when you were performing for the crowd, Quinn was not there. He was nowhere in sight. And maybe you feel a little bit shocked, maybe you feel a little bit hurt, because Quinn is certainly your closest ally, confidant, friend in Phandalin, and he wasn't at your show.
Yes, I'm hurt, but I'm also confused, maybe worried. Where else would he be?
I mean, you can go look for him, you could ask around.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Toblin. I'm gonna say, "Excuse me, Toblin, where has Quinn gone? Have you seen him?"
Yes, Master Kappa, he seemed a bit down right before your show started. He bought an entire jug of wine from me, and he said he was, going to go off and piss in the breeze, as he worded it.
Do you have any idea in which direction he went? Should I look about town?
I just saw him leave the inn. I mean, he could be anywhere.
All right, I'm going to go find him.
Okay. You head out the door. Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
Investigation. 7.
It takes you a while. You do not find any footprints. You do not find any evidence. You look all over Phandalin, far north, far south. You go almost along the trails, but you're thinking no way he left town. And surely enough, he was just right behind the inn the entire time. You eventually find him. He is pretty much passed out. The jug of wine is completely empty, and he's like falling asleep, kind of chicken pecking, his head kind of falling into his shoulder over and over again.
I'm gonna I don't really want to wake him up, so I'm going to pick him up and carry him inside the inn and put him down on a bed.
Okay. You lift him up.
Because he's like the size of a
and-
child, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's 3'4". Yeah, he's like a little kid. You pick him up and you carry him back in. As you walk into the inn, everyone's pretty much left. Elsa's cleaning up and she sees the two of you and she says, "Oh, my lucky stars, that's the sweetest shot I've ever seen in my fucking life. Mr. Copper, is that your child?"
No, this is Quinn. I found him passed out behind the inn, and I'm going to put him in bed.
She says, "Oh, I don't know if I remember who Quinn is,
He's
but
my
alright,
little-
thanks, love."
He's my halfling friend, you've seen me, every time you've seen me, he's been...
Oh, yeah, no, I still don't remember. She kind of nods and keeps cleaning tables. You carry him up the stairs, and as you're walking up the stairs, there's kind of a natural bouncing rhythm. He opens his eyes a little bit and he says, "Mr. Copper, are you carrying me?"
Well, yes, I couldn't just let you lie out on the street.
"You're carrying me to my bed?"
I was carrying you to a bed. I don't know if it's yours.
He just kind of whispers to himself something. Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Perception. Let's do a good roll this time, dice. 16.
16. You hear him say, "I can't do this anymore." And then he vomits on you. Just, he vomits really on himself, but it's definitely, there's some on you as well. And he says, "Oh, that's better." And he falls back asleep, covered in wine vomit.
I'm gonna
near
a little more quickly, pick up the pace a little bit, put him in any bed that I can find, tuck him in, and then immediately go. I'm gonna take off my shirt at least, and I'm gonna go downstairs and say, is there any way I can wash this?"
Toblin helps you wash your clothes, and pretty quickly get dressed in your jammy jams. You head back upstairs, fall asleep, and in the middle of the night, you hear someone scream, "Who is this little man in my bed?" But you just kind of stay asleep. You're sure to work itself out. In the morning, Quinn, you wake up to Quinn in your room, and he has a plate of pancakes for you. And he says, "Sorry about last night, Mr. Copper. I got awfully pissed, I tell you that."
We all get a little pissed. Every once in a while, you know?
He says, "Well, I mean, I was so bad, I threw up on myself and you, I'm pretty sure." So.
Yes, I do. There's
Sorry.
there's definitely a red stain, where he threw up on me. I said, "Yes, quite, but it's okay."
He says, "Well, if it makes you feel any better, we can just tell everyone that sees that shirt that's a blood stain from an epic
Oh,
battle."
I'm certain there will be blood covering it at some point. I mean, look at my shoulder, and I point to where the manticore had stabbed me with its weird spike thing.
He says, "Well, let's go down to Harbin Westers and collect that reward."
Yes, I agree. We should. But I do have a question.
"Well, yes, Mr. Copper, anything."
I want to lean in, and I want to be like, Are you sure you're up for the adventuring business?"
His eyes kind of go wide, and he says, "Why would you ask? Why would you ask me that?"
Well, I couldn't help but notice. When we were fighting the manticore, you said to yourself, "I'm not certain if I signed up for this." And then last night, you mumbled to yourself, "I can't take it anymore." So either you're harboring some great secret, in which case, keep it to yourself, I don't want to know it, or you're taking the tolls of being an adventurer, which are a real thing.
"I'm fine, Mr. Copper."
I'm going to do an insight check, because I don't believe his little ass.
Okay.
Oh, whoops. Rolled that wrong. 17.
He's not
Yeah,
fine, Mr.
I
Copper.
can just look into his eyes and I can tell.
Yeah, something's bothering him greatly, but also with the 17, I'm going to say, you notice that for whatever reason, he's kind of pissed that you're even bringing this up. Maybe it's because, people like to present themselves as one thing, and then when they're called out on it, it's like they feel like it's an attack on their character, even though you're trying to help. You're not sure what's going on, but he seems a little pissed off, and he says, "Right, Mr. Copper, let's go collect that reward."
If you ever want to talk about anything, I'm here to listen.
His head just kind of goes down a little bit, and he sighs. Thanks, Mr. Copper.
Of course. I do have one question. How are we splitting this? It was only 25 gold, so one of us will have to get 13 and the other 12.
Well, I killed a manticore.
You did?
He says, I'll take the 13.
Oh, that's only fair.
The two of you head down. You report back to Harbin Western, and he says, well, that is not good news. That Miss Gwyn doesn't want to come back to Phandalin. I mean, what's so wrong with Phandalin?
She also told me, and this is coming from her, not me, mind your own fucking business.
His eyes kind of go wide, and he says, well, a lady should not speak like that. Okay. Well, also, last time you talked to him, he was hiding behind the job board. This time, he's white-knuckling the handle to his home. To the town master's hall. He's just like ready to bolt into the door at any second. He's constantly looking up at the sky. He says, well, then, pardon my language, but shucks, I can't believe she would say that. He gives you 12 gold. He gives Quinn 13, and he says, anyway, I still believe you have another job from me, so, anytime you want to head out and do it,
we should be heading off to see those dwarves.
Yes, those miners, probably much more sensible than a Dabra Gwyn, but either way, there's a dragon coming, and they need to be warned.
Isn't the dragon already here?
Well, you know what I mean. He tells you that the new sheriff is going to arrive tomorrow, so you can meet her and get to know her a little bit. Are you heading off towards the Dwarven excavation quest?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I also want to give Quinn back his crossbow. I say, you threw this at me, and I want to return it for you.
He says, "Oh yeah, thanks, Mr. Copper."
Of course.
He says, "We should probably get you one of these."
I mean, probably, but I'm fine as I am now.
He says, "All right, well, let's get going." Out of character. At this point, for any DMs that are listening and want to, get some insight on what happens in Dragon of Icespire Peak. At this point, there would be a level up to level 3. I think that's a little fast.
Yeah,
so
that's way too fast. I just completed a quest.
Exactly.
I know I did.
So,
yeah.
So for the first 3 quests, they tell you complete 1, you level up to 2. Complete another, you level up to 3. And then they kind of tell you to just skip the 3rd. I don't like that, so I'm going to, at the end of this 3rd quest, the Dwarven Excavation quest, that'll be a level up. And that's the way I would advise any DMs running this adventure. Okay, 2 of you hike for quite some time. You have to camp under the stars once more. Pretty uneventful camping. Do you want to talk to Quinn about anything?
I will look up at the stars, and I'll just say to him, do you think there's anything out there? In the stars, I mean.
You mean like gods?
Maybe. But more just people.
Well, I mean, we live in a world of magic. There's all sorts of plane shifters. I mean, Githyanki can move through the planes, and they're not attached to this one world. And yeah, I would say pretty sure there's people out there.
What do you think they're like?
Well,
it's kind of hard to be existential when you know you're not alone.
Yeah. Quinn kind of looks up at the stars with you and says, well, I think that if they're anything like us, and the general us of everybody that lives in Faerun and all of the Forgotten Realms, then I'd say there's probably some good and there's probably some bad.
But what if what they consider to be good is what we consider to be bad? I feel like law, order, chaos, good and evil, I feel like that's subjective.
Yeah, it is until you got a guard looking right at you saying, it's time to go.
I mean, of course, the laws of man are written down in a subjective, and I put my fingers in air quotes, subjective or objective way, but what are the laws of man to the gods? You know? And what are the laws of gods to the demons of the 9 hells?
I really couldn't tell you, Mr. Copper. All I know
just
is...
getting a bit philosophical. No need to dwell on this thought anymore.
All right, Mr. Copper. Well, you have good dreams, and hopefully you don't dream of too many crazy things.
I can't remember the last time I had a dream.
He looks at you and he says, are you sure about that, Mr. Copper? Because it seems to me that you've got a dream of stepping out your old man's shadow.
Yeah, I thought I was being the one deep, and it turns out you were this entire time.
Good night, Mr. Copper.
Good night, Quinn. Sleep well, my friend. Modular is Thorin George as Bradley Copper, and Luke Job as our DM. The story you heard today, as well as 99% of the characters, were created by Wizards of the Coast and can be found in the module Dragon of Icespire Peak. Our music today was written and performed by Max Hedman. You can find Max's music anywhere you listen to music, and you can find his website link in the description of this episode. You can follow us on Twitter at ModThePod, join our private Facebook group at the Modular Podcast Fan Club, follow us on Instagram at The Modular Podcast, and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel at The Modular Podcast. If you like it, please feel free to share with literally anybody, your friends, your family, your judicial district, people in charge, I don't know. New episodes come out every Tuesday, and until then, thank you for listening to Modular.